Welcome, you guys, back to At the Creative Table. Thank you so much for watching all of the episodes that you've been watching so far. We have been hearing just some really great feedback, so we're glad that you guys are tuned in with us. But pull up a chair, and if you remember, the Creative Table is a space where we set our cameras down and we just talk about creativity, the calling, and the process behind the lens. It's a different setup today. We are missing Ivy.
Yeah.
She's under the weather, so keep her in prayer, everyone. But you're at the Creative Table with Ruby.
Chris.
Yes. And we are ready to jump into this topic. So this is episode 7, and we're talking about just finding your voice and your style as a creative. So if it's something every creative has to go through, Chris. Like, finding your style. And I think, like, without copying other people.
Right.
Is something that you're hoping to do. So we hope you guys get some inspiration. Drop your notes in the comments, what you are learning through this podcast, how it's inspiring you. We appreciate all of the feedback. So we're going to hop into what's on the table today. We're just really talking about how do you become an original? But does becoming original also involve imitation? So I'm going to hop into the first question, Chris. Do you feel like your work has a look or a style? And when did you realize it? Especially like your portrait work. Do you feel like it has a look or a style?
I do. I do feel like it has a look and it has a style, but I always wasn't there. I think that when I was finding for a very long time what my style was, it was just, I was going again, like doing, depending on what shoot I was on, then the vibe that I would do. But now, in growth, I know what my style is.
Yeah.
You know, but before when I was doing different shoots, it was just like, okay, maybe on outside it was looking different than inside. And, you know, it wasn't like if you look at other photographers, maybe their style is just straight. So I thought I was doing actually something wrong.
Right.
When I realized it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. What about you, Ruby?
Yeah. And I think you have to like change it up because you were saying the difference from like shooting outside to inside. So like if you're shooting in a studio, you can really reproduce something and make it look the same versus like if you're shooting lots of events like you do, sometimes there's certain images that you have to go for.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like I am developing a style. I've always liked bold images. Heavy saturation and color is something that I definitely like. And I feel like I am, because I go between like the video to photo, I'm still like developing a style in photo and having so much fun doing more studio work, doing more portrait work, doing more headshots. And so I feel like I'm starting to develop a style as well.
Now, how long did it take you to like really realize that, I mean, you're not, of course, no one's just there yet, but when you're like, okay, this is how I want it to look?
Yeah, I would say it takes a while because you can get inspiration from people and you can get inspiration from different images, and you could say, I want my images to kind of look like this and start playing around in the studio. But it takes a while, I think, to really start to develop your voice. And I still don't feel like I'm there yet, but I'm looking forward to getting there where somebody sees an image and they know like, oh, Ruby took this.
Yeah.
Some spaces I feel like I'm there. So like when I shoot like in my church or in my fellowship versus other shooters, I think people realize this came from Ruby.
Right. Yeah.
And the more I do like women leaders in sports and sports stuff, I want to develop that style where somebody can pick up an image and be like, oh, this is a Ruby a Ruby
her
J
work.
image.
Yeah. I like
So,
that. I like that.
Yeah, so great question. Now, I know, Chris, you kind of talked about like inside to outside and just all the different types of shoots that you're doing. What are you trying to capture anything specific when you have a client in the studio with you? Is there anything specific you're making sure, I want to make sure this client leaves with XYZ? Here's the, I hate to say vibes, but like here's the vibes, or here's the feeling and emotion that I want to leave with these images.
That's a good question. So the feeling, the vibe that I would want the client to leave with, it, and I'm being honest, it all depends on the vibe actually they're looking for.
Right.
Because you might get a client, a portrait, and they're like, okay, this is serious, this is boldness, this is I'm the boss, you know, type vibe. So, you know, you got to get that boldness, or you might get something where it's like, this is gentle. You know what I mean? And then you may not have that high saturation for gentle.
No.
You know, right?
Yeah, it's definitely going to look different.
So it really depends on the type of shoot. So if someone came in and it's like a branding shoot, and, you know, I would get that where they are standing, you know, the headshot with their arms folded.
Right.
And boss moves like that, or, you know, depends on if it's a 16-year-old and, you know, the pretty flowers down there. So you're going to get that where looking at a flower, you know, the different poses and stuff like that. So it really depends on the type of shoot that I'm shooting. But it'll come with the consultation in the beginning. You know, I always say it's a Christy Love experience.
Yes. The consultations are so important because it's an opportunity like to learn the client, like what some of their expectations are, and for them to learn a little bit more about you too.
Right. You got to learn, you know, we want to learn each other. It could be someone you do know, but with a photo shoot, it's totally different because it's like, what are your expectations? And then let me tell you what mine is of you as well, like far as women. I know we're coming off the question a little bit, but
no, let it flow.
Like as women, you know, coming in with your makeup and your hair done, you know, unless you've already booked like the space to get it done before the shoot or something like that, which is, we do offer that sometimes.
Yeah.
So it just all depends with the consultation of where we're going to go with this shoot and what vibe we're looking for. I'm going to take it a little step further. For me, I'm even asking, what is the type of music you know what I mean? So I can play and you can get in that zone. I'm going to be honest. I tell everyone I got clean music,
Right.
but so that they can feel comfortable and get in that zone.
Yes.
You know?
I feel like music is one thing I forget about with portraits.
Yeah.
And with just photography, because I've done so much video in like the first few years of, you know, just being a creative and just having my business. So I was at a shoot recently, earlier this month, and like I had an assistant. We're shooting like tons of headshots. And one thing we were like, at the end, like, oh, we should have had music.
Right.
We should have had music. And I get you when you talk about like the hair and the makeup, because it was like volume headshots that I was doing. And there was one person in particularly who like took care to make sure they did their makeup, did their hair. Other people maybe had like makeup that they normally wear during the day. But as we're looking through the images, some people were like, oh, this person looks like they have a filter on and theirs looks so good before even the retouching. And I'm like, it's because they came in and they took the time to do their makeup. So I think that getting somebody professionally to do it or spending that extra 45 minutes before your session is definitely helpful.
Yeah, it's very helpful because you want your images to be beautiful. You know, you want your images to see no flaws. Now, when I say that, you know, there's sometimes you see like, oh my God, she doesn't have nothing. You don't want people to look like, like, I don't know, like AI or something, you know, something like that. But you do want them to look really well. So.
Yes. And I think it all, like, as people see your style and they learn it, I think it helps attract certain clients as well. I would say for me, in terms of like intentionally trying to capture stuff, especially now that I'm, doing more photography and looking to shift to doing like more women leaders in sports. A few things I'm looking to capture are like most women leaders in sports were athletes themselves and maybe now they're coaches. So like I want to catch you with an action shot, even if we simulate that action shot in the studio. And then I want to catch you like in a business shot, but it's like a mixture of business and your sport. And then I want to make sure you get like, just those standard images that can go on marketing, can go on flyers and different things. But I love having those like look bold and having, contrast or saturation.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's good. That's really good.
Yes. So yeah, is there like, as you've been developing your style, is there a shoot that really stands out to you or that you're really proud of?
Ruby, I'm proud of all my shoots.
Yes. Yes.
Wait.
Yes. Okay, so like what makes you proud of all of them? Like and really speak to like I think the audience and these beginner creatives who sometimes we don't sometimes you don't feel proud of it, but in hindsight.
Right. And the reason I say I'm proud because you might do a shoot beginner or, you could be already in the game for a long time. And situations happen where maybe it's not what you wanted it to be. But when I say that I'm proud, it's just that, okay, I'm always nervous before a shoot. And I remember a couple of years ago, I'll give you an example. I was really, really nervous and I reached out to, I think it was you guys, and it was like, it's okay to be nervous.
Yes.
Everybody's nervous. And once I heard that, I was like, okay. And then I'm nervous, but then when I get in the zone, you know what I mean? And then when I'm editing the images, then that's what makes me proud.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, I was nervous. I did this.
Right.
And then this is the outcome.
Yes.
So I am really proud of all of them.
Yeah.
There's some, like you said, like maybe it took a little bit more time or it didn't come out the way I wanted, but I did it. So I think that's why and it's not cocky or confident, it's just confident. It is very confident.
Right.
Like you're just excited about it. Because I'm doing portraits, a lot of events and a lot of BTS. So I think I'm really proud of the BTS part.
Yeah.
I think that's something that just comes natural for me. So, yeah.
Yes.
What about you?
And sorry, I coughed there. Before I answer that question, I kind of want to ask the audience as well, because like, I think what you said is so profound that like, why not be proud of everything that you've done? So what about you guys who are watching and listening? What are you proud of, in terms of a shoot, or what has really stood out to you? And do you have that same sentiment as Chris? I hope that you do. And I feel like she's challenging me to be like, yes, like I'm proud of this. Because I've admitted in the past where I've been like, I don't know if I want to look at this, But what turns out to be so much greater. So for me, I would say a shoot that I'm probably most proud of is it's probably been a one that I actually went to for like learning experience. So I went to a training, and this is when I started to make the shift from video to photography, and doing, offering more photography for clients. And I used to immediately be so afraid of like the strobes, because like in video,
Same. Yes.
Because in video, like you're using continuous lighting, like you're only strobing if you're trying to get an effect of like the cops are here or like it's a stormy night or something. And the way that the instructor explained everything just made it so simple, and she made it like mathematics. And I was just really proud that like, one, I showed up. Two, because like sometimes you pay for stuff and like you don't show up and you don't do the work.
Right.
So like, one, I showed up. 2, I was willing to try and get things right, get things wrong, not quite get it where I wanted it. And then I took the instruction and correction to like get the image that I was looking for. So yeah, that's probably one of the shoots that I've been on that I'm most proud of. And then second, I would say it's actually probably a shoot that I did a while ago and you were with me where I was shooting a client and it was a large group of people and they wanted to kind of keep adding stuff and adding more people in. And like, there was a point where I had to like stand my ground and say like, all right, like, I know you really want to shoot with like these 4 more people that are on your team, but we agreed to like this timeline and you only have enough time to do like 2 more looks.
Yeah, the time that we had allowed.
Yeah, so holding those boundaries, I was really, really proud of, and proud of the images that came out of it too. So
that's good.
Yeah. Are there any specific moments like you absolutely love capturing? So you said like portraits, you mentioned events and BTS. Like out of any 3 of those, is it something that you really love like capturing and gets you into the zone you were talking about?
You already know this.
Yeah.
BTS. I love BTS. I love it because, I mean, when you're shooting behind the scenes, and for me, I don't know when I began to like love BTS, but I think a lot of it started when I used to have my lupus walks. And after an event, I would like, whoever had video of what happened, can you send it to me?
Yeah.
Because when you're in the moment and you're doing an event or you're doing anything, you don't really get to see what's going on behind the scenes. And then I would make that content for social.
Right.
So I think it became a love, a passion because of something that I needed. You know what I mean? So then I was able to deliver that to other people to say, hey, while we're at this event or while you're at this shoot or anything, to go ahead and record. So later on you can go back and look or use it for content.
Yeah.
So I think that that's my love. Like,
yes. I think that's interesting because like you said, it started because it was something that you loved and that you wanted.
yeah.
So like, I think then sometimes finding your voice as a creative, and hopefully you guys are listening to this.
Yeah.
Sometimes finding your voice as a creative comes from a starting point of like what you love to do.
What you love to do and what you needed.
Yes.
What I needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what I needed and what I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And not necessarily like just seeing what other people are doing, but like what you love to do. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And what about you?
I think for me, in terms of like moments that I can't really think of like moments that I specifically love capturing, but the moments that I like inside of the session are when you start to look back at the content with the clients.
Yeah.
So like a client that may have come in like really shy in front of the camera, and then now you have these bold images of them and you're showing them.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone who was like, well, if I'm doing video, a lot of things I get is not only are people shy, but they for some reason like you can't speak anymore.
Yeah.
And then just being able to provide people with tools, whereas like if I have somebody who's really nervous, I'll put a teleprompter in front of them and just have them kind of read through it and just coach them through, and then starting to show them the final product. And they're like, oh, okay, like this is what I'm looking like. So I think helping people build that confidence for me are the moments that I really like to capture, and I get a chance to capture that every single time.
Yeah.
So what about you guys? If you're a photographer or videographer or even just any other type of creative, are there specific moments that you like capturing for your clients and for the people that you serve, or certain emotions that you're looking to pull out? So,
and it kind of piggybacks to the proud moments.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the moments, and it makes you proud. So, yeah.
And be be proud of your work.
proud.
Like, don't be afraid to take a look at it. Don't be afraid that it has to, it doesn't look like someone else's. We talked about, in a previous episode of like comparing your year 1 to somebody's year 10,
Yeah.
right? That's not really fair
Right.
to yourself.
Right. That's good.
Yes. So 2 more questions. What season has shaped your creative voice the most, would you say, like in terms of developing your style?
What season developed my style? I'm still developing. I'm being honest. I'm still developing. But I think it was the season when I started to do a lot more events back to back. So I feel like it was, practice more, even though it was, some was paid. But it was just in that season. And I'm going to be honest, like it was in a season when I was grieving. I was really grieving, and still is. But truthfully, I had got more creative in that season, to be honest. And you wouldn't think that, you know what I mean? But I believe as creatives, and when you tap into a space where you are grieving or you're going through something, I don't know. I think I really was figuring out my style, my voice, and everything with photography.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like we have to take a pause there for a moment, like, because that's so real that like as you're going throughout life and just different things and different seasons in your life can influence like what your work looks like. And I'm just so proud of you for like continuing to show up, because I know the journey that you've been on, and just to hear that like you did that repetition in the in moments where it was difficult because you're dealing with this very real life thing of like losing a parent, and grieving through that, but continuing to be consistent and show up. So
Thank you.
Yeah, and another thing, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Another thing I heard too was like your style comes through repetition.
Yeah.
So like if we're not putting in those reps, because you talked about, just doing more events back to back. So not if you're not putting in the reps, but like your style comes through repetition, and putting in those reps may help you develop the style a little bit faster. But whatever process that you're going through and whatever pace you're in, just know that your journey is yours. Be proud of it. Continue to go through it. Continue to put in the reps, and keep developing. Keep developing.
Going.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yeah.
To piggyback again to being proud, I think that's where someone may watch the beginning of it, and when I say I'm proud of all of them,
Right.
maybe like, what? Like she's cocky, but like you say, while you're going through a certain season, no one may really know what you're going through, where you're like, I just got my camera, I picked it up, I went to an event, I shot, like, and these images came out of pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they came out beautiful.
Right.
So that's where that comes from, where it's like, just be proud.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to adjust your mic just a little bit, Chris, because you're talking to the side. So let's have it. We're going to point it this way. That's similar to what was happening to Ivy. Okay.
Very good.
Let me see. Go ahead and talk again.
Hello.
Okay. It was going just like a little bit in and out as
probably because I'm turning my head.
To the side. So I'm like, let's try to turn it so that we capture it too. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know if you guys are gonna see that, if it's gonna be edited in or out. But we're talking about like seasons that shaped your creative journey the most, and we'd love to hear from you. For me, I would say seasons that shaped my creative journey the most were when I really began, probably, what year is it? So probably about 5 years ago. And I think beginnings can be great moments of shaping you, and they can help you learn just like what you want to do and what you don't want to do. Because going through, seasons, and even though mine was different, I would say tough in a different way, where maybe I didn't feel confident because of the clients that I was working with and that I was picking. And I realized oh, I really don't want to shoot this type of client. And I think
that's called trial and error.
Yes. Yeah. So I feel like those beginning seasons for me, I did a lot of different things, and I got to learn that even though I love sports photography, I don't think I want to show up to 10 different events in a week and shoot sports. Not that I don't ever want to, but I really love a little bit more of to being able to tell people stories with video, and those curated studio moments now is what I'm learning that I really love. So yes. So last question, before we go to kind of our on the table, off the table, and we kind of talked about this a little bit when you answered the last question, but how does faith, and everything outside of the camera influence your style?
I think it's everything for me. Faith is everything anyway. With photography, my lifestyle, is it good?
Yeah, so maybe
I think
turn it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was saying with faith, with my lifestyle, because you never know. You can have a plan of how you want your image to go. You can have a plan of how you want your life to go.
Right.
And sometimes you just don't know how it's going to go. But with faith and works.
Yes.
It
works for sure.
Yeah. So faith plus works. So I believe it's the same process with photography. It's the same for me. I feel like my environment helps me. Like I said, in one of the toughest seasons ever in my whole entire life, I feel like my creativity was sky high. I feel like my confidence got sky high. I would have never thought that. You know what I mean? I would have never imagined that in that season of, losing my dad. And I think I was grieving before I actually lost him, but my creativity was out of this world. So your environment has everything to do with it. Now, I've heard people tell me before, they were going through a tough time and they tapped out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think for me, my environment is everything to do with my photography.
Yes. Yeah. I've probably been the tap out person. Cause if for me, I'm just I think the checking out and not totally ignoring everyone, but I feel like that helps me reset.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's perfectly good. Yeah. It's like, what shift do you need? You know what I mean? And being okay with it. Did I take a pause through it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I sure did. So I did both, but I didn't think at all that I would be as motivated as I was at a certain time. And maybe it's because I needed to tap out of what I was actually going through and then live in a different reality.
Right.
So that could have been it too.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. I just feel like I have so many pause moments as we're talking today. So I know we're trying to find the best sound effect for that. Sometimes you just gotta take a breath and pause and just trust the process. Trust that your style is gonna develop. Trust that no matter what season that you're in, God is gonna use it for good. For me, in terms of like environment and life shaping it, I am probably a really big person on like my space feeling a certain way and being a certain way. And not that I cannot be creative, like if it's not set up a certain way. I'm not OCD, even though some of my siblings and other people that know me would probably disagree. But I try to make sure that my environment, like my physical environment, is set up in a way that it supports the creativity. So like if I'm in a mood to paint, you know, making sure that that stuff is accessible easily, or if I want to record, which like stuff is accessible. And I think being able to be in this space, so thank you for, you know, shout out to Horror Lodge, and then even just thank you, Chris, you know, for just allowing us to piggyback on your partnership. Just being around other creatives, you know, helps me as well. Just continue.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
As I'm talking, I'm hearing like all the ums that I'm saying, which is why I pause so much. But you guys, it doesn't have to be perfect. And we love to know for you, how has your faith, how's your life, how's your environment influence your style? Because sometimes the environment can influence it because like you're around certain people and you're trying to emulate and copy what they're doing.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing. I think your style can develop out of copying what you see and doing what you what others around you
It really
are
all
doing.
depends on what the definition for you is, what copy, because that's like if there's a certain program that you use, and I mean, we're photographers, we can use the same
Right.
program. So it's really, I look at it as inspiring. You know, like, oh, I copied Ruby today. No, Ruby inspired me to do it like this. Or, you know, her images came out like this because her lighting was slightly this. And you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So it just all depends on what you take that meaning of copying.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, because I'm definitely always inspired, like always.
All right. So we're going to hop quickly into our lightning round. And this is just on the table or off the table. And we're talking about style. So you want to ask me one of those questions?
I will.
I don't mind going first. Yeah.
All right. So on the table, off the table, lightning round. All right. Borrowing inspiration while learning.
Oh, definitely on the table. I think you should always borrow inspiration from other people. Yeah. I don't even think we need to expound on that.
No.
On the table.
All right. So copying, I'll do two.
Okay.
Copying styles to grow faster.
I think that's on the table too. Because we talked about like copying and like really what's your definition from it, right? So like if you're new to photography and videography, sometimes copying something and trying to look consistent. So like maybe there's something for a videographer that they've seen in a movie or that they've seen somewhere else and they want to now try to copy that. And then same thing for a photographer, like copying and trying to be consistent with that copy is going to help you for sure grow a little bit faster. But don't be afraid to innovate and make it your own. So,
At all.
yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Chris, on the table or off the table, you need a signature look to be legit.
Off the table.
What say that for the people in the back? What did you say?
I said no.
Yeah.
No, that's off the table. Absolutely. I don't think I need to like explain.
Yeah.
Like no.
Yes. All right. And then on the table or off the table, doing something different than your peers or just what's popular.
doing something different. I want to say that's on and off the table. Well, often I just feel like everyone is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's art is different. Everybody's creativity. Let's just say off the table.
Yeah.
That's off the table. And the reason why I say at first it was both on the table because it's like if we're all doing something together as, shooters and then I go and do something different when we had a plan. That's
Right.
what my mindset was
yes.
thinking like, no, but yeah.
Yeah,
You see where I was going? My brain is like braining.
Yeah, and like so, Chris, if I feel like you're talking about like if we're all on a shoot together,
Yeah.
or even if we're at an event, we have to be aligned, right?
Right.
And I can't go off and do something different,
Right.
but-
And if we had a whole plan
Yeah.
and this is in my lightings and like, no, I'm over here
Yeah.
doing something else. Yeah. So that's what I
Yes.
was going with that.
yes,
So yeah.
yes. Well, I hope you guys have been enjoying the episode. Let us know if there
Yes.
should have been different questions we could have asked about on or off the table, or what's on or off the table for you as you develop your style. And just remember, your creative gift is going to get more clear as you practice and as you go through the reps, as you go through the different seasons of your creative journey. Any thoughts that you have, Chris, as we wrap up this episode? Anything you want to leave the audience with?
I would just want to say, just always be proud of yourself. Encourage yourself. We may fall, but we also get back up, and always surround yourself around your creative community.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all have those seasons. It may not be grief. It may be just a tough time, but we'll pull through. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And for me, I'm going to say kind of what I want to leave everyone with, and what I'm leaving with is be proud of every shoot. Like when you said that, like I'm proud of every shoot. I'm like, yes. Like be proud of everything that you've done because it helps develop your creative style. It helps develop your confidence and just learn from it and just know that like your style is going to develop as you process. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. That is another episode of At the Creative Table. And we'd love to know, after listening to this episode, how are you finding your creative voice? How are you refining your style? And are you trusting the process? You guys can't see, I actually have on some earrings that say trust the process. I just realized that.
Yes.
Yes. And let us know what's on the table and what's off the table for you in terms of finding your creative voice. That's another episode of At the Creative Table. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. See you later.